Hello everyone, welcome to this fabulous time we have together on LinkedIn today. Great to see you. I would love to know something, tell me something about the weather. We're going into spring. Give me one word to capture the weather that you're experiencing today. How's that for fun? We are at, gosh, it's got to be like 18 degrees Celsius outside, which I think is in the high 70s, maybe early 80s. Wonderful, right? You see the energy in the neighborhood just coming around. So tell me one word to capture your weather as we kind of wait for people to join us and kick off, right? Weather is like ridiculously something fun to look forward to as we pull out of winter. All right, today I'm really going to help you fine tune your communication. So if we haven't met yet, hi, I'm Carrie Bircha. I help leaders and teams build trust to increase productivity, and we do that by slowing down to go fast. One of the things that I comment about all the time in my leadership work is this old school whiteboard concept. Not the whiteboard concept is the thing I talk about, but what I'm going to draw is. So it's this idea that we're all caught in a day-to-day spin. Like that, we know that, right? I'm sure you're resonating, I'm resonating. It's just been a crazy week. So we get caught in the spin. And so what happens is people come to you and they want you to help them figure out whatever their problem is so that they can keep spinning. Because there's so many things coming at us and so many things going on and so many things to address. Now, as good leaders, which you all are, we naturally, people come to us like saying, help me with this, I'm frustrated, what else can I do? This is where people start the spin. And as good leaders, we want to help them, right? So we often try to figure out what do we need to do right here to help the person, deal with their spin, figure out what's frustrating them so they can move on. And that is not going to help you help them, ironically. It gives us often a Band-Aid fix. So let's sort of take this out and think about how we get people to the real fix down here. So we want to slow people down to leverage what they can control. Been doing some coach training the last week or two, and last week I think I had 3 leadership retreats. It was just awesome. And we talked through some of these concepts. So not getting into the coaching like technical skills as much as that really important skill that each of you have as leaders to listen. So we often want to ask questions or ask people what they've done related to the problem that they brought forward. And what we really need to do is listen, 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 listen. You get the idea. Listen. Before we ask questions, before we get at the fix. And what I'm noticing when we talk through active listening exercises or I'm just sharing leaders' journeys with them, that the listening part is typically what we skip over because we're also caught in our spin, right? So this concept of listening came out in some training recently where somebody talked about how an employee came to them really frustrated with a colleague. Like, you leader, fix this problem sort of thing. And the leader talked about how she was really listening. Listen, listen. And by the end, the employee that came to complain realized, oh, I should probably go have a conversation with the colleague. Yes, good, right? It wasn't that leader taking on the problem or even the leader telling the employee what they should do to fix it. We don't want to push strategies when the person is equipped to deal with it. We want to empower people to go deal with it. Now, here's the irony. As leaders, we got promoted because we were great fixers, right? We do that well. It's why we were operationally recognized. It's why we got promoted. It's why our teams like us, because we take barriers away from them and we fix things. Now, the risk for us as leaders when we do that is just burnout. You're doing a ton of work. You're doing work that other people could do and would feel successful if they got stretched to do the work. I often say in training that as a leader, you should go home less tired than your team. Your job as leader is to do the big thinking, the strategic work, the high level view, the smart work, so that your team can really thrive and be empowered to figure out what they're spinning around. So next time someone comes to you throwing something at you, resist that knee-jerk response to use your talents to fix things. I know it's just such an irony. Avoid fixing. Empower your team to fix by listening to them. So another person was even giving an example where they had some kids that were now grown up and working in professional situations and were just venting to their parent about some frustrations at the work setting. And the mom was really using active listening skills, super hard. I say it's the hardest leadership skill that there is. And the adult child was saying, gosh, you didn't take a hold of that and fix it. You really helped me see what I need to do. And the mom, came back to our coach training and was, I think kind of proud of herself, honestly. And she should be. That's a shift when we're dealing with kids, colleagues, co-workers, to not fix. Because here's the irony, right? Let's say that somebody comes to me and they're frustrated that there's not buy-in to change. Now, I know a lot about change. I help cultures change. I help teams change. We talk about implementing going slow to go fast change. I could, if you came to me frustrated that some people weren't buying into change, I could give you all sorts of tips. Now, the irony is, my tips, as salient as they would be, are not necessarily on point. You're the one in the trench. You know the details. I don't live in your shoes. I'm not in your trench all the time. I should listen to help you slow down and think through what that is. Not ask questions yet. So if you came to me and said, I can't believe it's our third meeting talking about this initiative and they still aren't doing it. Listen. So I would simply say, wow, you've had 3 meetings. That's frustrating. Yeah, I can't believe it's so frustrating. There's not even an agenda with the meeting. Oh, so it's not having an agenda that makes the meeting frustrating? Well, it's that, and then people don't even come. Oh, so people aren't coming to the meeting? Well, it's actually the people that aren't buying in that aren't coming to the meeting. Oh, people are not coming, and those people are the same ones that aren't buying in? Am I tracking right? Yeah, they really are. And hopefully as you're talking, you're thinking, oh, I'm seeing a pattern here, right? The people that I need to buy in aren't showing up at the meetings. And when the other person who has the problem kind of gets to this epiphany of oh, that's my stumbling point, right? The people that aren't buying in also are not coming to the meeting. Bing, bing, bing. Then I want to transition and ask some questions. So what are you going to do with that? Right? What are you going to do to help that? What are you going to do to engage them? What strategies can you try? What does the next meeting look like? I could ask a zillion different questions to help you figure out what the next steps are. Now, I could have asked those questions originally. I could have given you tips about what change things did you try. Here's how we get stakeholder buy-in. Here's some things to analyze in anticipating what the buy-ins get. I could go all day long about change management and culture and human behavior. That's not the point. You need to listen to whatever those variables are that you're dealing with in your trench. And then you're going to get to the clarity of your own bottom of the spin. And you're going to feel empowered, which is going to have you feel more engaged. It's going to have me working less. I'm going to be strategically holding that helicopter view to be able to go back to you and say, nice work. I see the shift in these people's engagement, or you really stretched as a team member to have the hard conversations with these people that are just passive aggressively avoiding the meeting. If I got that expression right. So I want to maintain as a leader my helicopter perspective so I can really recognize where people are stretching, celebrate their strengths, and empower them to be the problem solvers at the bottom of that spin. When that happens, you're going to walk away feeling more successful. You're going to control more of the variables, which is going to reduce your anxiety at work. It's going to increase your motivation to come to work because you're actually making a difference. It's going to increase your engagement. I mean, there's all these wonderful things that come out of just listening. Yeah, it's like the magic leadership skill and so hard. So I would love to hear from you. I've got a nice handout on questions that you can ask once people get to the bottom of that spin. I'd be happy to share with you. So send me a message. Find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Happy to share that with you. Once you listen to people, those questions are helpful because it can really pivot them into their future and what their next steps are. So, journey with me on the listening thing. My grandma's turning 103 in a couple of months, and I say, even when I'm 102, I hope that I'm still working on this listening skill because it's so difficult and important. You want to change the world? Slow down to listen. And then you'll go fast because you'll see things and hear things that help you be a better leader. Let's connect. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Find me on LinkedIn. I have resources I'm more than happy to share with you. Have a great day, everybody. Be safe.